Hello and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name, of course, is your host, Stephen Compian. And I'm joined here by my co-host with his powerful Green Bay Packers gear on because this team apparently just doesn't like to lose. They just apparently always pick good players. The worst anyway. But they're back! Dan Gill in the house. Dan, what's going on, dude?
As you can see scrolling across the bottom right now, I am the champion.
Oh, shoot. I messed that up. Pick'em champion co-host, Mr. Dan Gill. Apparently, we do know football over here. Who knew?
Who knew that I knew anything about football? I didn't.
Nobody did.
Taylor and I were neck and neck all season, so I applaud you.
I applaud you too. I really lost it there in the last 2 weeks. Really hurt me.
And of course, joined here by Taylor Seitz, Mr. Second place himself. Put me in the shame. Although I kind of missed him. But either way, big play out of Taylor. He does know football, apparently. We're very happy you're here, Taylor. How are you, sir?
Good, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on this evening. And what a glorious day is to be on the podcast leading into the playoffs, which, of course, Dan and my fine Green Bay Packers, youngest team ever, may I say, to make the playoffs this week. And, of course, I wouldn't have it any other way. We're playing down in Jerryville. And, we got some good history down there. So we're looking for a good wild card weekend coming up here.
Good times. So, boys, we're going to hop right into this because Taylor's phone may or may not die at some point during this podcast. Tragic, scary stuff. Let's pop right into this so we can sort of avoid that. So this game is going to be on a couple different networks. It's not a Peacock exclusive, which people are happy about because otherwise they may or may not burn down the headquarters there at Peacock. But we got the Joe Flacco, Mr. Elite himself, led Cleveland Browns traveling to take on the hottest sensation in Texas right now, C.J. Stroud. What's going on, boys? What do you think about this one?
A couple weeks ago, they did square off. The Browns won, but you have to keep in mind that was also when C.J. Stroud was out. That was about 3 weeks ago.
He was hurt.
Yeah, so they won 36-22 in Houston. But yeah, with him being out, completely different dynamic. So, the lines have opened up at 2.5 Cleveland. I think the thing I still get behind, even though they got C.J. Stroud back, is that Cleveland defense is scary. And, I think that they're going to be able to get the pressure on him. I don't like to buy too big into, he's a rookie. This is a big game. He doesn't have that experience against a guy like Joe Flacco, who's won a Super Bowl, played in so many playoff games. But, to a degree, a guiding force like Flacco that can calm his team down because they are relatively young, they have little playoff experience, can go a long way. But, Houston has looked good the last couple of weeks the last week or so since they got Stroud back. But, I guess I was a little disappointed in that game because it seemed like they were moving very well for the first half, and then they let Indy back in it late in the game. So that, to me, is a little bit of a concern. Sure. So I'm going to go Browns on this one.
I got to go Browns, too, just because Joe Footsteps himself is over there, and I think he knows this might be his last chance at another ring. I don't know all this stuff about the rookies maybe not showing up in the moment. I think that's Texans' best chance is that C.J. Stroud's just an absolute baller. I don't think the moment's going to be too big for him. I think he's built for this stuff. He's been in national championships. Hasn't he? Anyway, I don't know if he has. But either way, he's used to big games. I think he's going to be just fine. I would lean Texans if Tank Dell was in this game. No offense to Nico Collins, just absolutely balled out last week. But I think that Browns defense is going to find a way to shut him down, and then you're really relying on, Schultz, who's had a pretty solid year, but it's very quiet at certain points. So I do think I'm leaning Browns on this one too.
Yeah, I'd add to that. So, it's really, one of the things, the Texans defense has actually been quietly good this year as well. But I think it comes down to with CJ Stroud's lack of playoff. He's a rookie this year. Not having Tank Dell, Dameon Pierce has not lived up to expectations whatsoever. That matter. Also, Dalton Schultz has been kind of under, he's been kind of hurt and banged up all season. I think ultimately just because of the Browns defense itself, they're just gonna kind of eat them up. And I mean, Joe Flacco, Amari Cooper have been all over it. David Njoku has been a top 3, if not top 5, top 3 tight end in the NFL this year.
He's going off.
He's been going off these last few weeks, and I just don't think they'll stop the run with the Browns, because the Browns, that is their lacking thing, is they really don't have much of a run game right now. But I think they're just going to eat them up over top, and so I have Browns -5.
Oh, okay. Big predictions out there. One thing I'll say real quick about David Njoku, man, I saw that clip of him trying to convince Kevin Stefanski to let him kick the extra point or the field goal or something. And Kevin's like, it's too far. He's like, I'm strong. I'll be fine. Just like no hesitation rebuttal. I'm strong. I'll be fine. Becoming a big fan of David Njoku. I don't know why he drank that beer from the stands. That sketched me out. You don't just drink a random beer that was in the cup holder, dude. Like,
nah, that's a football guy right there.
That's a football guy, but still, like, that's scary, dude.
You're telling me if Njoku ran up to you, like you have front row seats, you had a beer,
but there was nobody there. He just grabbed a random beer.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Go for it.
I'm just saying the guy who drank it. I'm not saying as a fan. I would 100% hand him the beer. I'm saying anyway, whatever. David Njoku's a bad motherfucker. I think he's going to go off in this game. We're all leaning Browns in this one then.
Browns.
Furthermore, the Miami Dolphins, who have looked like pretty rough, are going to play another team who's also looking kind of rough in the Kansas City Chiefs. But I do think the Chiefs are going to be able to pull this off just because they're at Arrowhead. Miami hasn't shown us all year that they could beat a good team. So I don't know if they're going to suddenly be able to get this done in the playoffs. You never know. You can't count out Mike McDaniels and the boys over there. They do have a lot of talent. Shout out Chase Claypool, just an absolute baller. Hasn't quite hit 100 yards yet this year, but he's about to go off, boys.
Now, interesting thing about this game, it's apparently supposed to be like 0 degrees.
It's gonna be cold as fuck. Miami's not ready.
And I think they said it could get as low as like -5 or something like that.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are out they have no Bradley Chubb. You got to keep that in mind too, who's been their biggest quarterback pressure all year. So I mean, the secondary's sharp with Ramsey, Howard, but I mean, it's gonna be kind of a grid. It's gonna be kind of a grudgy game. I think it's gonna be low scoring.
I think so too. Just from what we've seen out of the Chiefs this year, I don't know if that offense is suddenly going to be super dangerous.
I mean, you look at the Miami team. The only person who's used to playing in the cold is Tyreek Hill going home. So, right. I mean, it's going to be really close, but I got the Chiefs in this one. I mean, it's also playoff Patty Mahomes.
Yeah.
Chiefs are at home,
I mean,
I think Isaiah Pacheco's been running really, really hard. So.
And are they expecting Mostert back? Because I know he didn't play last week. He's still marked as questionable. So, like, kind of really running through only a chain is kind of tough because you're going to need those two-headed backs. But, yeah, the Dolphins have not been a good road team this year. I believe they were 4-4. And remember, they played each other in Germany this year. And, like, talk about a tale of two halves. The Chiefs went out 21-0 in the first half and then kind of worked their way back in the third quarter. Nobody did anything in the fourth. But I don't see that kind of happening at this point. But, yeah, Chiefs myself. They just can't get much together on Miami. There was no reason they should have lost that game to the Bills. Like, that was all them.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, hey, we're all going to take the Chiefs on this one. Shout out Taylor Swift. Shout out Patrick Mahomes. Moving on.
Shout out Cedric.
Shout out Cedric.
He doesn't get a shout out.
Yeah, no, we love Cedric. Anyway, the Steelers are traveling to Buffalo. This is going to be a rough one for the Steelers. Are they going to start? They got to go Mason Rudolph in this game, right? Because
I don't get how you don't.
You got to go Mason Rudolph. But I just don't think it's going to be enough, especially if TJ Watt can't go, which we haven't heard total confirmation on this yet.
From what I heard today, he's not going. He's not going week one.
I just checked ESPN. He is officially ruled as out.
Yep.
Yeah, no, the Steelers are going to be beating this game. Then I had that to say.
They don't have any chance.
The Bills have been balling out these last couple of weeks. They've really turned their season around.
Look, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. We've been trying to write them off.
Yep.
They just come back around somehow.
They refuse to write us back. It's sad.
Also, that Bills defense has been playing so phenomenal. I mean, Rasul Douglas miss him so much, but he's been playing phenomenal in that secondary out there. They've been getting to the quarterback. They've been stopping the run, and then on offense, I mean, their run game you got Josh Allen and James Cook's been having a hell of a season. Watch Gabe Davis even have a good game.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and well, I know he got hurt during that game last week, so he's listed as questionable right now, but I would imagine he played. But I mean, yeah, like Josh Allen was just mowing people down left and right Sunday night. Like he got wrapped up 5 yards away from the first down, broke the tackle, and got the first down. Like makes no sense. But
he's falling out. He knows what's on the line
the dude
right now.
knows what he needs to do to win, and I respect it.
I respect it too. He's definitely cleaned up his game from all the turnovers he was having earlier in the year and seems to be back on pace for the normal stuff he's used to doing.
Yeah, and I really wish that, like, it sucks that TJ Watt got hurt. I would have loved to have seen what happened because they might have had a shot because that defense of Pittsburgh with him is scary.
So your audio is still working, but your video is frozen there, Daniel. But that's okay. You're frozen with just the most beautiful smile ever. So we absolutely love to see it. But yeah, so you're also going Buffalo in this one.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Buffalo's got this game 100%. Even as somebody who has in my playoff pool league, I was gifted Pittsburgh, so I should be rooting for the Steel Curtain. But the Steel Curtain is just a curtain, and it's going to get blown right through.
Shout out, Frankie. Anyway, moving on to a game that Dan's going to be happy to rejoin us and talk about as well. As we mentioned, the Green Bay Packers are traveling down to Jerry World to take on the Cowboys. And playoff history, if it's taught us anything, is that the Packers have the Cowboys number in the playoffs. They have taken care of business against them before. Personally, I have a lot of people who love the Cowboys in my family. Got to stick with the Cowboys on this one. They are the hot team. CeeDee Lamb is absolutely going off. So if he does what he should, I don't think that Joe Barry defense is going to have a chance of slowing them down.
Yeah, so the biggest teams are going to come to play is, you got two of the hottest teams going into playoffs right now. Packers are kind of a wild card. It's nice thing about the Packers right now is even when one of the younger receivers doesn't show up, there's like two other younger ones who are always ready to go. I mean, you've seen the emergence of Bull Melton over the last few weeks. Jared Reed's been phenomenal. Hopefully we get Christian Watson back. Hopefully Romeo Doubs is healthy and ready to go. Dontavian Wicks has been playing phenomenal football. And also you got Luke Musgraves back. So you got the dual-headed monster there with him and Kraft at tight end. I think the big key to this game is going to be Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones can get over 20 touches, I think, and the Packers can somehow make sure that Michael Parsons isn't going off, I think they'll be able to put up some points on him. Now, on the defensive side of things, the key is going to be able to shut down CeeDee Lamb. Tony Pollard hasn't been running the football very well. The Cowboys have just been a through-the-air team. So if Jair and the cornerbacks can actually really stick it to him and play well, Pro Football Focus rated Rudy Ford as the number one coverage guy in the NFL as safety this year, which was super surprising to me. And the young guys are coming together. Even Keyshawn Nixon has been playing well. So if they can go ahead and do what they did last week against the Chicago Bears and get to the quarterback, put pressure on Dak and shut down CeeDee Lamb, I think the Packers can take this one home. Of course, I'm going to have a bias on that. But like you said, Aaron Jones, Cowboy killer, man. He's played some of his best football. Guys from Texas. Really, really does real well against the Cowboys every single time. The key is going to be shutting down CeeDee Lamb. If the Joe Barry defense can show up like they did last week, it's going to be a real fun game to watch down in Jerry World.
Yeah, I mean, if they can show up like they did the last 2 weeks, they still put on a phenomenal game in Minnesota. I think it would also be nice. And I jumped in. It's probably on the back end of the ramp, but I think it would also be key to get Dylan back. I heard you list a couple with wide receivers, but having the dual head in the backfield as well will be huge for us.
Dylan's missed when he's not out there because, those hammer 1 yard plays and stuff like that, he's such a big body. And he actually has been, a lot of people sleep on A.J. Dillon. He's actually played some really good football and stepped up this year.
Yeah. So it's funny, Sunday morning before any of the games had started, I was playing around on the simulator, kind of seeing where things were going to land if they went the way I thought. And I was talking with my brother, who was a diehard Cowboys fan. He grew up Cowboys in the 90s, so, And I go, hey, man, look, it's looking like we're going to face each other. We take care of our business today. And he goes, you know what, man? He goes, I don't like that. And I'm like, why? And he goes, dude, it's just – he's like, yeah, we're a great team this year because it's Packers in the playoffs, man. And I'm like, well, it's not like we have because he hates 12. He hates him. He respects him, but he hates playing him. And I'm like, look, we don't have 12 behind center anymore. He goes, yeah, but y'all just find a way. He goes, it's like you and the 49ers. Just mess up Dallas's day.
We got 10 now. We got 10 now.
We got 10. And, I love the little storyline of Mike McCarthy versus old team in the playoffs. But we play well in that building. Won Super Bowl 45 in that building. So we got good juju in there.
Beautiful. Well, that's a big surprise that you guys both taking the Packers in this one.
I mean, look, I kind of am like I want us to win, but I just the Cowboys have been a hot hand lately, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and act shocked if we don't win this game,
For sure.
But
Fair enough.
Sure, the Cowboys have had a couple rocky games. Didn't look good against the Bills. Didn't look that great against the Dolphins. Shootout against the Lions, but and we beat the Lions a couple weeks back. We beat the Chiefs a couple weeks back. Our very own Taylor was at that game. But so we like you said, we have the ability to do it. Can we just call the right schemes to make it happen? We'll see.
It's gonna come down to
find out. Hey, well, before we move on, Dan, do you have a non-sponsor sponsor for us? I know you were just eating a lovely meal. Maybe you might want to use them.
I got something else for you.
Oh, hey, hit us.
Just gonna get my sunglasses that you gave me.
Oh.
If you need any solar needs, talk to Steven Coppan.
That's right. I am actually the biggest actual sponsor of Sports by Compian. So I am a non-sponsor sponsor usually. No, I'm an actual sponsor of Sports by Compian. So yes, if you have eyewear needs such as glasses, sunglasses, send me an email about it. Put it down in the comments, and I will not give you any of it.
He deals with all things sun related.
Yeah, all things sun, and I will probably just be like, oh yeah, you need a pair of sunglasses. That's sick, dude.
And
anyway,
I also have a little tow truck toy.
Yay! Tow truck toys for the win.
It's got a smashed up car on the back.
Yeah, it does. Okay, boys, let's hop into the Rams traveling to the Lions. This is going to be a very interesting. This might be one of the closest of the games we're looking at right now.
So hold on, did you guys hear allegedly what's happening with this game? That the Lions are not allowing fans to wear Lions Matthew Stafford jerseys into the stadium.
What?
That's hilarious. I love that though.
I saw like a video about it, and then like they were talking about it on the news today. Like I don't know how legitimate this is.
Can't be. There's no way they're checking every single Matthew Stafford jersey.
Unless they're doing that, are they going to trade it out with a Jared Goff one? Like, give us your old jersey. Let us burn it. Here's a Jared Goff one for free.
That's for real. That's the only way that would make sense.
But yeah, like that is. That'd be funny if they do that. I think it's kind of driven by a fan group more than it's not obviously not the team, but a large fan group is trying to ban Matthew Stafford jerseys from going in the stadium. But no,
like haters.
But no, like we talked about last game, has storylines. This one has it all over the place. Like first home Lions game in like playoff game in 30 years. The first one at Ford Field. The only playoff game they've ever seen at Ford Field was Super Bowl between the Steelers and the Seahawks. And then, for what it is, it's the two quarterbacks that got traded for each other, led their teams to the playoffs, and now they're squaring off. So
pretty interesting.
A lot of drama, a lot of cool things going on it. In a way, I'm going to admit it, I feel bad for Matthew Stafford.
Stafford wants to win at Ford Field. It would be like the trifecta of what he's already done in the trade.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, at this point, what is left in the trade other than to knock them out?
That'd be hilarious.
He got a Super Bowl the first year. Yeah.
That'd be so funny. I do think I'm going Motor City Dan Campbell in this game, though. St. Brown has just been balling out. I think he'll find a way to create some damage. Although, Sam Laporta did just go down.
Yeah, he's not playing this weekend. That's really rough. And I think that's going to lead. He's been kind of their shining light there in Detroit this year. I mean, the kid was a stud. I had him in fantasy. I think missing Laporta is really going to put more pressure on Amon-Ra St. Brown in the coverage act of things. Also, the Rams got hot at the right time. And I mean, you look at the young acquisitions on their team. I mean, Kyron Williams has been playing phenomenal football, top back in the NFL this year. You have a healthy Cooper Kupp. And then, of course, you cannot forget about Puka Nacua, who's just had a phenomenal rookie season at receiver. I think the depth that they have on the attack plus the front, I mean, Detroit right now, they're going to lean on the running game hard. Well, then you're going against Aaron Donald and company. I think it's going to be a shootout, but ultimately I have the Rams in this game.
Yeah, as much as I want to pick Detroit, and this is obviously not a Green Bay thing, but I mean, yeah, like you said, the Rams, and we said this for the last couple of weeks, the Rams and the Bills have gotten hot at the right time, and that's really what it's about. Now, sure, the Rams game 2 weeks ago against the Giants, shocked that ended up as close as it did. But, they played really well against the Ravens. They took care of business other weeks, but I think just Matthew Stafford's really rebounded well this year, and I think that he's going to take care of business and move him on to the next round.
Yeah, you know what? You guys have against me. I gotta go Rams too. With Sam Laporta down, that is pretty huge. Jahmyr Gibbs is still going to be in this. They got a lot of weapons. They got Jamison Crowder, who, it's been maybe a little bit quieter than some people would maybe like, but
also
overall,
I wouldn't say Detroit's been playing very good football the last end of the season.
Not great. No, you're not.
Like, they started really hot, and unfortunately, they've cooled down quite a bit. Jared Goff hasn't been playing his best football, absolutely. I mean, he's been giving up a ton of turnovers on the offensive side of the ball, and that's why I ultimately think the Rams are going to win.
I mean, kind of their only strong win that they had down the stretch was against the Denver, and then they lost to the Bears, they lost to the Cowboys. Both games against the Vikings were close, so I kind of expected a little more out of them. The way that they were taking care of teams on the front end of the season, they were doing it pretty handily. But Dan Campbell gets his team going, so
gotta love MCDC.
You can't discredit what Dan Campbell is going to do for this team and get them going. But I feel like the Rams just got hot at the right time.
Absolutely, no, that's fair. I do think it's going to be a really good game, though. It's going to be fun to watch. But I guess we're all taking the Rams for this one. Fair enough. Moving on to the Monday Night Football game. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hosting the Eagles, and it's kind of convenient this is on Monday night. It does give Baker Mayfield one more day to recover with these rib injuries / ankle injuries / he's just so banged up, that guy. But coming off of a less than impressive performance against the Carolina Panthers, unless you're talking about the defense, which pitched our first shutout in I think like 2012 or something. I forget the exact stats, but huge day out of the defense. But I mean, it was against the Carolina Panthers. So Antoine Winfield's playing out of his mind right now, and I know he's going to get the boys riled up for this one, and he's going to continue to ball out. Still not over the pro doll stuff. It's just bullshit. It's absolutely crazy. Go look at the stats, people, if you can see why I'm not so upset. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, so I do think the Bucs have what it takes to win this, especially since the Eagles are just playing like absolute trash the last 5-6 weeks. We've gotten hot. Like, granted, we did drop the ball against the Saints, but I think we've won like 5 out of our last 6. Meanwhile, the Eagles have lost like 5 out of their last 6. So two opposites ends of the spectrum coming into this game right now. I think the Bucs defense is going to be able to really shut down Jalen Hurts, who's struggling down the stretch here, and especially they just lost AJ Brown.
Yeah, that sucks a lot.
I mean, not for me. I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I know AJ Brown. I do like AJ Brown, but yeah, I'm okay with you not playing in this game, bud.
Yeah, man. This is actually a really hard one here for me. I mean, the Eagles have shown they can win, but also like, I don't know what's happened the last few weeks. That's probably some of the reasons that I've lost a bunch of my pick'ems is because I've been riding the Eagles pack all season, and they just haven't been performing. People are starting to figure out the tush push, and Baker's been baking, man. Mike Evans with another wonderful season. I think he was fantasy receiver number 3 or 4. He was a top 5 fantasy receiver
He
this
finished
year.
first. He tied with Tyreek Hill for the most touchdowns.
Yeah, I was gonna say the guy's balled out. He's been great. A lot of your other receivers has been popping up. Also, White has really come to fruition towards the end of the season. He was a top-ranked fantasy running back this year. The guy's moving the football. He can catch the football off the backfield. Your defense has been playing good. Usually, this one I have a really hard time picking between the two of them right now. If the Eagles
Also, worth mentioning, this is a rematch. We did get absolutely handled in our first matchup, but there's something to be said about playing a team for the second time in the year.
And then and that's in Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
It's in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you got to go with the hometown team there. So I actually am going to go with Steve-O here on this one, and I'm going to pick Tampa Bay, which you would have asked me a few weeks ago. It wouldn't have even been a question. I would have gone with Philly every single time. But with the injuries to A.J. Brown, now you're basically just having Devontae Smith kind of is going to be your headline receiver.
He's also injured. They
haven't been running the football that well either. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers -2.
Let's go, baby. I do think if we can shut down the run, we're going to be just fine. Last game, they absolutely gashed us on the ground. So if we could shut down the run, which we kind of proved we could do against Carolina, Chuba Hubbard definitely had some good runs, but ultimately we did kind of, shut them down. So if we can do that again, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. It's been said, Philly kind of looks like hot garbage right now. And when you drop 5 of your last 6, it's tough to really get behind them. And their only win was against the Giants. It was a huge game for them this week when they played the Giants again, where they had to win to have a hope at winning their division. Obviously, Cowboys took care of their end and beat the Commanders, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But, they were up on the Cardinals 21-6, blew that lead. Seahawks, that was an absolute shootout fest back and forth there. And, then the Cowboys worked them when they went down to Dallas. Same with the 49ers. They rolled into town. And I kind of think since those couple of weeks haven't been the same. Even though they beat the Bills that week, I think that even shocked them in a way because the Bills had gotten out to an early lead on them up 17-7. So, a little bit of exposure there. But, yeah, I think just the way Tampa's been looking the last couple of weeks, I got to go with them too. And, who knew that, like we said on the show yesterday, no love in the USA Today for Tampa at the beginning of the season. I think they predicted them for like 4, maybe 5 wins, finishing in last place.
Shows what they know.
But,
hey, they said the same thing about the Packers too. So screw you, US Today.
Losers.
But Baker is just doing his thing, and I unplugged my headset. Sorry.
So you're also taking the Bucs for this one, then, Dan? Is that what the conclusion of your statement is here?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we're gonna go ahead and call that a flush then for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully, they can get the job done. Dan's headset is dying. Taylor's phone is dying. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this.
I just unplugged it.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode. Taylor, do you have any fine words for the people at Sports.com?
Hey, thanks for having me on here to talk football. Always love coming on with you boys.
Thank you for coming on all year.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys their wild card weekend. There's definitely some awesome games. I mean, none of them look to be a complete blowout. You know what I mean? I think they're all going to be real close, good, some good football to watch this weekend. So, I'll leave that with Go Pack Go. And, yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a heck of a wild card weekend. Make sure you tune in, people. And thank you for supporting Sports by Compion throughout this NFL season. Continue to watch us. We're going to be doing some cool stuff during the spring with all the different spring leagues going on. And yeah, thank you for supporting our pick'ems because we do know football over here by Sports by Compion. Maybe not Cedric, but we know football. Anyway, Sports by Compion out.